Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's khutbah, we will be discussing etiquettes and how to act in the masjid. But just start off, this is more like the basic rule, or I guess things that we should all know, but things that lately people have been kind of forgetting, or just how to act in the masjid in general, and just so everyone has a memory. First, as men, you should never come into the masjid with shorts too above your knees, because to go to the masjid, the house of Allah, you want to wear the best of the best of clothing. You don't want to wear some shorts that don't cover your knees, or just clothes that don't look good for the masjid. You always want to look your best when you come to the masjid. And that's just topic one. Point number two is smelling good. So you don't want to come in the masjid and smelling like smoke because you just went out and smoked. Or if you ate onions, or if you've been around anything that has a strong scent, maybe, cooking food or whatever, that has a very strong spice scent. It's so much spicy that it's strong. It might affect those in the masjid, it might bother them, and it's just not a good smell. You always want to come to the masjid looking your best, smelling your best, looking your best, dressing the best, and it's always important to go looking your best and smelling the best. But now the reason why that's important, because you're coming in the house of Allah, you don't want to smell bad, and then you want to be looking your best, because you always look your best. You always should be looking your best when you come into the house of Allah. It's very important. And then the next topic is how when everyone's done saling or praying, and whether this is Friday prayer or just regular salah or whatever, you should always keep your voice level as low, and you should never increase the voice level. So you should never, if let's say it's after Isha prayer, for instance, and there's this group of three people, men talking, and they're kind of being loud, right? It might interrupt your salah, and it's not being nice, because you're not being respectful to those who are still saling or still praying their prayers, their sunnahs, or whatever. So just be mindful of that when you're going in the masjid, to not interrupt those who are already praying. And if you want to have a conversation, maybe take it outside the masjid, step outside or into the shoe area or whatever. But I think this is a good topic to talk about today, because we're kind of all forgetting about this topic, right? Everyone thinks that they know everything about this topic, but we're kind of losing it, right? We're kind of losing the etiquette, losing how we should present to Allah. How should we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How should we enter the masjid? How should we face Him in sujood? And there's multiple ways we can do that, right? Being respectful to those who are praying, smelling your best, looking your best, obviously, as we talked about as well. But that's not all, because and then you should always, obviously, as everyone knows, you should always keep the masjid clean, right? You should always not litter. If there's water, take the water aside, you leave it. Don't do that. Obviously, take it to the trash. But it's not only inside the masjid, also around the masjid, right? And the parking lot, if there's some water bottles or whatever, don't leave water bottles in the masjid. That does not look good for the masjid, and you get bad deeds, because this is still the house of Allah, even though you're outside. So just make sure you're cleaning up after yourselves, and kind of making the masjid a better place, right? Making the masjid more making it welcome, making it look nice and pretty and all that stuff, making it look clean, make it clean. Obviously, everyone knows the saying, don't leave anywhere, leave it better than the way you found it. So if you go walk in the masjid and you see that there's no trash on the floor, there's nothing on the floor, there's no water bottle, there's no paper, whatever, then you should leave it. Or let's say, here's a better idea, actually. let's say there's a little bit of people. There's like, a few pieces of tissue maybe on the floor in the parking lot maybe, right? And the quote says to leave it better than you found it, right? So then picking up those tissues off the floor and helping making the midget cleaner, and then that act of goodness will actually influence others to do the same. So if someone picks up trash off the floor, it'll make the next person want to pick up the trash on the floor. And it'll just keep going, and it will soon become quite a clean mission. And it's also in the parking lot too, to be honest. Always make sure you clean up after yourself. Do not leave your trash behind. Any mission, it does not matter where you are. But I think this topic is really important, right? Because I think sometimes we are forgetting these etiquettes. We're forgetting how to act. We're dressing not appropriate for the mission. We're smelling not appropriate for the mission. We're doing things in the mission that's not appropriate. And in this society, right, things are normal, but it's not. That's another topic we'll get to later on this video, but stepping on this time topic as etiquette and how to act in the mission. Point 1 was always coming dressed your best, right? Looking your best, dressing your best, abaya or whatever. Don't come in like some shorts that don't put your knees. And make sure you're looking the best, you're smelling the best. Don't come smelling like strong spices. Don't come smell like you just smoke. Don't, and then don't be loud in the mission, right? And that's a big thing too. Is that after so long, people just talk and communicate, and they go loud, which is, stay at a normal level, quiet, don't, and I think one another issue too. So always stay quiet in the mission. But another part is that when you're praying, and I think this is kind of going up a little bit. I mean, not too many people are doing it, but there's some people that do. Don't walk in front of people while you're praying, right? You should never walk in front of someone when they're praying. That is haram. That you get bad deeds for. If someone is praying, you do not walk around them. You have to find a prayer, right? When it's so packed and you want to leave the masjid, you have to leave to go back to work, you have to go back to school, you have to go back to wherever, you have to go somewhere, whatever. Always wait till the person in front of you is praying. When you turn around, wait till there's a clear path where you can actually go and walk. Don't walk in front of people. That's not respectful to them, right? Because you want it like that. They did it to you, so don't do it to them. And it's haram. You should never do that. That's etiquette. How you should act in the masjid. How you should present yourself at the masjid. That is only the tip of what we're talking about today. And then some other stuff is that, obviously, I'll make sure you're cleaning up after yourself and cleaning up after the masjid. And one instance, and yesterday when I went to Asha, this was Monday. Monday night, the 14th, and me and my dad went to Asha. Now, one little point that I kind of got from there was when the sheikh said to never take from the masjid and always give to the masjid. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean, right? Never take anything away from the masjid, right? But you should always be giving to the masjid, but don't ever take anything. Like, water is fine, but don't take a whole case of water and put it in your trunk. Or don't take the Quran and keep it with you. You should always be giving to the masjid and not receiving. You should never be taking anything away from the masjid. You should never be doing that. Always be receiving. Always be giving. Giving. Do not take anything from the masjid. That's just etiquette, right? You should always be donating to the masjid, zakat, whatever. But you should never, ever, ever take from the masjid. And then some of the other part too is being a good character. Right? Not only the masjid, but in outside the masjid. And actually what's kind of crazy is that somebody that maybe fasts all the time, maybe gives charity all the time, does all this good stuff and prays all the time, they can actually, you can actually be higher than them, but just have a good character and be generous, be nice, and giving, right? Giving. And having a good heart, you can actually be higher than those who maybe do better stuff than you, but you can still be higher than just because they have a good character. But make sure you're still obviously that doesn't mean that you can just don't pray anymore and you just have a good character. No, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. And some other points I want to make too is how to act outside the masjid, right? Parking situations, okay? You should never, okay, so I know I'm kind of jumping around all over the place today, but, these are points I kind of thought about at the moment. So, obviously we talked about dressing, best and looking your best, right? We talked about that smelling, looking your best, don't walk in front of people, we talked about all that stuff already, so we covered that. We covered that part. We talked about cleaning up after yourself. Maybe leaving the masjid better than you entered it, right? And how you should always walk with the right foot in the masjid. Obviously, everyone knows that. But if someone doesn't walk with the right foot, right? Does that mean it's wrong? No, it's not wrong. But it's better to walk in with the right foot. If someone walks in the left foot, it's not wrong, right? But it's just better to walk in with the right foot. You should always walk in your right foot, but it's better. But it's not wrong. But you should always kind of get in the habit of walking with the right foot because it's better. So just the small stuff like that, and knowing how to act in the masjid and what behavior is appropriate, what behavior is not appropriate. Don't be running around. And don't let your kids be running around the masjid when people are praying, or maybe after, right? Maybe after trying to pray, people just don't let your kids run around. Keep them close to you, maybe, keep them on the prayer, whatever. But you want to make sure that you are setting a good example for your kids as well. Don't be walking in front of people. Don't be talking loud to others. Do not be doing that. You want to set a good example. And also the parking situation sometimes, right? People would park at places where they shouldn't be parking, they can't be parking, and they'd be blocking traffic. But it's easier for them to get out. But is that no? This is all edeb, right? This is all etiquettes and how you should act in the masjid and outside of the masjid. And this is just a snippet of what we're going to talk about today. So, as I was saying, you should always act politely. Send them shake hands with them, won't be friendly. But the parking situation, you should never block anyone else just because it's easier for you to get out, right? That's kind of called being selfish, right? Because if you block, if it's easier for you to get out, okay, but what about the person behind you? It's easier for them to get out. They can't get out until you get out. So they gotta wait for you to get in your car and get out. Maybe you're a talkative person and you like to talk around and you like to spend lots of time talking. Let's just say you do. And if you do, well, guess what? And that person that maybe just gotta go to work or maybe just wants to go home, right? He has to wait for you to get in your car and actually leave the masjid in order for him to leave the masjid too. Which is completely not right and that is wrong. So don't be those kind of people, right? Don't be those kind of people who other people have to wait for you to leave in order for them to actually be able to get their car out and leave. And it just blocks the whole traffic system, Keep the traffic system going. Keep it going. Keep it going. That's the whole point, right? So, that was the mission part of edeb that I wanted to discuss with you guys. The next part will be still about edeb. As I mentioned in the beginning, there's different, I guess, if you guys want to say, levels to edeb, and that was just, I guess, part one, because I want to call it that. But part two of edeb we'll be discussing more about what is now normal in life, but it's not a good habit or it's not good behavior. And I think that this is more about the youth, the kids, because there's lots of things in this in America, obviously, that indicates as it's a norm, right? And it's a lot to this. Like maybe people that smokes, right? People that smoke. It's now normal, but is it a good thing to do? Is it a good habit? No, right? That is the thing. We want to know, okay, well, this is normal, but is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it something that's going to give me good deeds or bad deeds? Is it something that is going to benefit me in the future or not benefit me in the future? Is it something that's going to affect my life in a positive way or a negative way? That is things you want to think about, things that are normal in this life. And in school or maybe at work or whatever. You should never be you should always want to try to express kind of, if people ask questions about fasting or whatever, you should always kind of try to inform them on stuff like that. But you want to make sure that what is normal, you're giving them the way, what is normal, right? Is it really normal? The norm, is it a good thing or bad thing? Whatever that in America they say, oh, well, that's normal. Well, yeah, okay, it's normal for them. But is it going to give me good deeds or bad deeds? Is it going to affect my life in a positive or negative way? Those are things that I would like to talk about. Those are things that everyone should be stressing, right? And you know what? Here's a good one. Cussing, swearing. That's normal, right? You hear that a lot in school, at work, or wherever. But is it a good thing or bad thing? Is it gonna give me good deeds or bad deeds? Is it gonna affect my life in a positive way or negative way? Is it gonna affect how people see me as a person? In a good or positive way? Those are all the things you gotta think about when you talk about the normal things, right? But let's start with cussing, okay? You don't wanna do that in front of people, because guess what? And they're gonna say, well, look at this Muslim man or kid. He's swearing. That means that their religion, they must not care about swearing, or they might not care about doing this bad stuff, right? Which is not good to cuss, right? And haram. But the less you do it, the more people will look at you like, wow, he is, Islam is a great religion because no one really cusses that much, right? And they kind of can look at the world like that instead of being like, well, maybe cussing, whatever. But there's lots of stuff that go into that too. Not just cussing, there's smoking, there's a whole bunch of stuff which probably won't be covering today. But that, and then in public, you always want to make yourself a good person. You want to have a good character. You want to be kind to people in public, because that's how they see you, and that's how they see Islam. They might judge you based on Islam, right? So let's say if someone's not good, they be doing all this haram stuff, they be doing bad stuff, right? That looks bad on Islam, right? That makes that person in Islam, that makes it look really bad, right? But is that everyone? No. So it's we should always fix our habits so people can look at us and say, wow, what great people, right? And if they ask, hey, well, what religion are you, whatever, and they'll kind of understand that Islam is a good religion that teaches you etiquette, that teaches you how to be respectful, that teaches you how to be good characters. But we have to apply that into our regular life and actually use it, right? So we know that we should always be kind. We know that we should not cuss. So let's apply that to our regular life. Let's say that to our regular life, right? Because we know we should always be clean and we should always be well hygiene, right? Well, if you have bad breath and you go to someone, it's not gonna look that's not look good. Okay? That not look good on you or the religion that was in that. So be mindful when you're going out, places to work or whatever. Be mindful of those things. That, well, if I'm gonna go out looking like this and smell like this, what are people gonna think of me? Right? If you go out smelling like very nice, you have good breath, you smell good, you look well hygiene, you took a shower, well, people will view you as a good person. People will view you as a person who's good, who has well hygiene, right? And it'll reflect the goodness on you and it's that. And this goes for everyone, right? Men, kids, women, whatever. You should always be looking your best in public. Well, I'm not talking about your best, but whatever. But acting your best, right? Smelling the best. Doing all the good stuff that you should be doing in public. The more you do it, the more people will look back and say, that person is a good person. It's all about character and how you present that character. How do you present yourself? How do you show up to places? How do you smell at different events? How do you act at different events? How do you act about different people? How do you act in front of different cultures? How do you act in front of different people? How do you present yourself? And is it in a positive or negative way? Right? And then at home as well. Respecting your that's another point I'll probably get to a little later. So we'll do the home part later. But it's all about presenting yourself well. Right? And this kind of ties into the mission. Make sure you're coming on wudu. Don't make sure you're doing your wudu correctly. Maybe if you maybe ate some dinner that maybe has a strong scent, right? Or maybe you have food on your mouth and you go out in public, go to school. That does not look good on you or Islam, because they're not gonna be like, well, they're not gonna look at you in a good way, and they're not gonna look at your family, and that's gonna affect you in your life. Because what's gonna happen? More and more people are gonna see it. More and more people are gonna be around you, and they're all gonna have the same impression that you don't know how hygiene it is. You don't know how to smell good. You don't know how to do that. They're gonna have the same impression around them. Same impression. Same impression. And hopefully not, right? And make sure what you're doing at school or work is halal too. Always make sure that you are just remembering Allah in your day-to-day life. Remembering Allah and turning to Him whenever you need help. So now, that is we're halfway through the end part, okay? We're going to be talking about, right now we're going to be moving on to, whenever you need help, right? Whenever, you're struggling or you're whatever's going on, you can always turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. Make two wakats. Do whatever, and He will help you. He will answer your prayer if you call Him. Because guess what? He doesn't need us. We need Him. And it's true. He doesn't need us. We need Him. We need salah, right? We need the salah. He doesn't need our salah. We need the salah. We need the wudu, and we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us and guide us. And the only way we can do this is to act now, because it's never too late. It's never too late to maybe change yourself, change the image that you see on life, change whatever. It's never too late. But there's going to come a point in time where it's going to be too late. And there's going to be no one going back. So I feel like it's better for everyone to kind of maybe take a little break right now and try to change the image. Try to have a better image on people and how to speak. But I think that it's useful, right? You should always have a better personality in life. You should always know how to act in public. Or let's take a little break to kind of reconsider. We'll think our decisions. Make a quick little dua, and we'll continue this lecture. So let's all take a minute or two to make a good dua. And just reflect a little bit. So let's take some time. I'm gonna be waiting here for like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and I just want you guys to make a good dua during this time. Pause the video. Well, actually, you don't really need to pause it because I'm gonna be staying here. But I want you to reflect, right? I want you to make a good dua, make a good impression. Make this a dua for those, and maybe if it goes stuff, maybe it can help you. So let's take a minute or two to do that. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. If I need any more time, pause the video, it's fine. But we're gonna continue. So, the next part I kind of want to talk about as well is, so just obviously this whole khutbah is about adab and how to act and the etiquettes of acting in public and acting at home and acting in vision and so forth. So we talked about how to act in the masjid and how to act in public. Now I want to talk about so we talked about how to act in public, right? But we're gonna talk about what to do, what not to do in public, what to do in school, peer pressure, and that is actually a topic I'm gonna talk about too. Peer pressure, right? People pressuring others to do bad stuff. People pressuring others to do haram and things that you should not be doing. And that is obviously bad. And people nowadays are more and more people starting to fall in the victim of peer pressure. Whether that's in school, home, whatever, work life, whatever. But mainly in school, right? Because you got these kids who don't really have the same manners as you, right? And the same etiquettes as you. So they try to maybe you're friends with them, right? And you go talk to them and maybe they try to peer pressure you. They try to get you to do stuff that you don't want to do, and the inside that is haram, and the inside that that gets you in trouble. So should you do it? Should you do it? No. You should not do it. But guess what? You know what? People still do it though, right? Things that for a fact that you could get yourself in trouble for, or you might get bad deeds, or it may not look good on you or your family, or you might get in trouble by your parents or Allah, or in trouble in general, right? And it's not a good thing to do, but you're still going to do it. It might get you suspended. It might get you fired. It might get you, staying on top of school, expelled. It might get you in trouble. Maybe it might not get you in trouble at school, but maybe you might get really, really bad deeds for it, right? And that's the thing that we're really mindful of too, is that how to act, right? What is right and what is wrong? That is something I want to remember. What is right and what is wrong? Think before you do something. Before you do anything, you want to think of the pros and the cons. What are the pros of this? Am I going to get in trouble for this? Yes or no? Okay, so let's say this, okay? I'm trying to think here. You know what? Let's start the easiest one, okay? Talking out loud during class, okay? This means when the teacher's talking, you're talking to another student, and you're talking a little loud. Let's start with that first. Okay, what are the pros to that? And I like to always think about it in my head or write down on paper. What are the pros to that? You know what? Let's just wait. What are the pros to that? Well, I can only think of one. Maybe one pro is that because having maybe a good conversation, or maybe it's important, right? But what are the cons? There's multiple cons, right? You might get suspended, and if what's going on. You might get into detention. You might get in severely trouble, and it does not look good. And it does not look good on you as a human being, as a person. It does not look good on you, and it looks bad on you and Islam, because that's where you come from, right? That's what when you go to in school, you are kind of like the face of it, right? You kind of are the one who kind of show others what Islam is all about, right? Because you are actually at school. So how should you act? You should act what Islam taught us how to act. What manners Islam taught us how to act. How we should act. What to do. And how we can act. But that's not what we've been doing. That is the opposite of what we've been doing. And that is not good. We need to always think about what is right and what is wrong. The pros and cons for yelling out loud in class, what I just said, is that right or wrong? What is the decision? Should we be quiet or should we talk to our friend? Maybe we'll talk to our friend maybe after. Right? Maybe after the teacher's done talking, maybe then when we're allowed to talk. But always, 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 always have the manners that Islam taught you and bring that along with you. Show people who you are and what Islam is all about. Because the body language you have, the attitude you have, that can show a lot about you and your religion, about you and Islam. That can show you a lot. Just the way you walk, just the way you talk, just the way you act can show you a lot about you and the way you came from and Islam. That can show you a lot. So let's all think about this in a good way, right? Let's all be well-mannered, going to school, going to work, sitting on the top of school, not doing stuff that's going to get you in trouble, not doing stuff that's going to set a bad example on you, not going to do stuff that is making you look bad, is a bad impression on you and Islam, right? You should never do that. Because then, what are those people gonna... So, okay. Let's say if you do something bad at school. What are those people at school that know what you did bad? What are they gonna think of you in Islam? What are they gonna think of other Muslims? What are they gonna think of? They're gonna say, well, this guy's Muslim. This boy's a Muslim. This man's a Muslim. Right? So they will all have to be like that, right? But it's not the case. And it's hard to prove them wrong, right? You can't prove them wrong. It's hard because they have proof or evidence that someone else was acting like that. So why shouldn't you be acting like that? Why are you not acting like? Why? It all has to be similar because it all came from the same religion. It's not, but it's not true. So we need to all act nicely and politely in order to set a good example on others in Islam, which what teaches us manners, because you can't go up to someone who just saw another Muslim doing something bad, and you can't go up to someone like, hey man, Islam teaches me da-da-da-da-da-da. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't go da-da-da-da, this Islam teaches da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because guess what? They're going to say, well, that's not that guy was doing the other day. But maybe Islam tells us not to cuss. Okay? Well, that boy just cussed over there, and he's Muslim. So every Muslim should be able to cuss, right? No. Or for smoking, right? Well, every Muslim should smoke. But just because they saw one guy smoking in the bathroom or just smoking wherever, they think that it's okay to smoke. And it's not. And they are showing a bad example on you, and it's them. They are sharing a bad etiquette. They are showing a bad example and impression on you and Islam. And guess what? If you want to set a bad example on you, that's fine. Okay? But don't set a bad example on others. Don't make your family look bad. Don't make you look bad. You know what? You want others think of you as polite, kind, caring. You know what others think of you? Oh well, this guy's trouble. No. Always, always, always have that etiquette and what Islam taught us. What did Islam teach us? What did Islam teach us? Manners, how to act in public, how to talk to others, how to behave. Right? It taught us all those things, but we still go do other this stupid stuff. We still do other this stuff that we shouldn't be doing, and that we know we shouldn't be doing, but since we're around others, we think it's okay. Right? We think no one, whatever. But the problem with that is that no one's gonna figure it out, right? But Allah's gonna watch it, obviously, and other people around you, whether that's teachers, professors, kids, whoever, they're listening or they're looking at you doing whatever you're doing, and they're saying, "Wow, and this is what Islam is about." Maybe they know that you're a Muslim, but they probably should. They probably do. And they're going to say, well, wow. And this is what Islam is about? And this is what Islam teaches people how to act? No. But they have that impression because you decided to do something that you should not be doing. So let's think about that before we go in anything deeper, right? Because we can't talk about the bigger part of etiquettes if we can't pass the first few. If we can't accelerate between the masjid etiquettes, home etiquettes, and how to act in public, and how to act at home, and how to act in the masjid. If we can't pass those, how are we going to talk about how to respect the parents? Which that should be an easy thing too. But how are we going to talk about that if we don't know how to act first? We can't talk about that kind of stuff if we don't know how to act first. We can't talk about how we should be praying or all that stuff if our first problem is how we are acting. We can't accelerate, we can't go further if we don't know how to act. That is a big problem. That is the problem that we're facing. How can we move past this? How can we go talk about how we should pray and wudu and stuff like that if we can't focus on the main quick and easy stuff? How to act in public, what is right and wrong, set a good impression on Muslims and Islam and those around you, set a good example for yourself, and how you should act in the masjid and what you should and should not do in the masjid. But we can't move on from that if we can't go to if we can't pass this, right? Or if we can't pass that, we can't. How are we going to move on? How can we talk about the other bigger things that we should be talking about? How can I be talking about other things if we can't move on from this little stuff? We can't. Because we first got to understand how to act in public. We first got to understand how to act in the mission. The etiquettes, how to act, how to smell, how to look when you're in the mission, what to do, how to talk, things like that in the mission. And it might sound like, oh, this is all this little stuff that we already know, but we don't. There's many people out there who don't set that example, and that's why we have to still talk about them. That is why we come back to it. We should be trying to accelerate ourselves, talk about some new things, some higher things, but we can't do that until we get to this stage. Until we pass this level, that's when we can go to the next level. Right now we're on level 1, right? Maybe level 3. Because we did level 1 with the masjid, how to act, whatever, stuff like that. But now But there's lots of levels, right? There's tons of levels we can face and how to better ourselves as Muslims. But how can we better ourselves as Muslims if we can't pass level 3? We can't pass level 3, so how are we gonna better ourselves as Muslims if we can't if we can't even pass level 1, 2, or 3? How? How can we talk about how to better ourselves and how to do more and be a better Muslim if we can't pass the easy stuff, the quick and easy stuff? How? You can't. Easy, you can't. We can't talk about those stuff and how to better ourselves as a Muslim if we can't talk about the easy stuff that every Muslim should already know. Every Muslim kid, man, woman should already know. This is the basic steps. And as us men, we should be setting good examples in this life, but we're not. This is stuff that I want everyone to think about. Maybe you're like, oh, well, we already know that. Well, I want to take a step back and say, hey, wait. Have I been doing this? Have I been actually doing what he's talking about right now? No. Am I really acting good in public? Am I really dressed appropriate for the masjid? Am I really smelling appropriate for the masjid? Am I really doing stuff at school that is right or wrong? Am I really doing stuff that's gonna help me in life, or like doing stuff that's gonna be bad deeds? Am I really doing stuff that's gonna affect my life in a positive, negative way? Those are all questions we gotta ask ourselves. All these questions we gotta ask ourselves before we can move on and how to better ourselves as Muslims. So, next week's episode, we will be talking about how to better ourselves as Muslims, inshallah. If anything comes up this week, I might try to talk about it more. But for right now, let's better ourselves as a Muslim and let's better ourselves as a human being. We know how to act. We do. We know how to act. But it's called peer pressure. We know how to act in public. We should. And I'm sure we all know how to act in public. Who doesn't know how to act in public, right? And knowing what is good and wrong, bad and good deeds, haram and halal, right versus wrong, all this stuff. How we're dressing for the masjid, shorts or long pants or abaya or whatever it is. Let's come together and let's think about that before we can move on to the boss stage. Before we can move on and talk about how can we better ourselves as Muslims as we are now, but how can we improve ourselves? How can we go forward with that? But we can't pass level 3. Like level 1, 2, and 3 are the easiest levels, and if you can't pass it, then you're not ready for the boss stage. We're not ready to talk about the other things if we can't pass level 1 or 2 or 3. And let's help our fellow Muslims. Let's help our fellow brothers and sisters in Islam. Help us so we can all be better at level 1, 2, and 3, which we should already. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Rahman Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdinas siratal mustaqim Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim Ameen. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode about Edeb. Hope you guys took some points and hopefully you guys took stuff out of this lecture that you can interpret to your own life and how we can act in public and how we do not act in public. Hopefully you guys actually learn stuff from this, because this is my goal. And if I didn't, then I don't know what to do. Maybe you already know that stuff. That's alhamdulillah, that's good. But if you wanna, you should always take something from every lecture, right? Even if you think you're already a good person, well, maybe there's points that you missed. But hopefully everyone took something positive out of this lecture, and hopefully you can better yourself as a person. Since school is starting back up and all that stuff, this is the perfect time to do this lecture. But everyone's starting school again, so hopefully, you guys learned a thing or two, about what I was talking about. and hopefully we can better ourselves as people and Muslims, and setting good examples for others, for other people who are non-Muslim, and maybe if they know, how we act and the real us, I guess the real us, but we should always be real in public. But if they know who we actually are, maybe they want to convert to Islam. They're like, well, these people are good, but I'm kind of lost in my religion, right? Like Christianity, I'm kind of lost. So what do? Maybe they want to convert to Islam, so they go up and talk to you, and you can talk to them, tell them, answer them questions, give them some good information, right information, and then they refer them to the sheikh, so they can go talk to that person. But this, I just want to make this because schools come back up, so everyone can understand how to act in a masjid, how you should act in public, how you should act around non-Muslims and Muslims, how you should dress for the masjid, how you should act in the masjid, all that stuff. Assalamu alaikum. And hopefully you guys took something, and hopefully you guys learned a thing or two in this video. Assalamu alaikum.